It's become kind of an obsession of mine to think about life as an RPG in order to make life more fun and to make my day to day more productive, like having more quests and developing my character, as it were, so I will lead a better life. And one of the main components of an RPG is, of course, the main quest. And I think I've found a way to think about the main quest of life in a way that is very productive, in a way that is very fun, and will make everything easier, will make the hard tasks easier to accomplish. So let's explore this idea a little bit. So the thing with RPG is that it is usually a finite game, meaning you play until you get to the main quest and then you finish the main goal, you defeat the final boss, and then it's over. Kind of like a fairy tale, like the couple marries and they live happily ever after. And of course, life is not like that. But you also have RPGs that you play with your friends, for instance, like Dungeons and Dragons or GURPS or Storyteller, where the goal is actually to keep playing. You complete a quest and then the one of the guys comes up with another story and then you play again next week and then you play again and again until you can no longer play. And life is more like that. It's an infinite game. The goal of life is not to achieve a trophy or a certain nomenclature or a job or a badge, anything like that, or a certain number of money. Life is not like that. It's not the main goal of life. The main goal of life is more like keep living, but keep living well, and maybe keep living better than the day before. We can summarize this goal as being happy, but we have to remember that being happy is not like a point in our history. It is something that must happen again and again and again every day. In that sense, happiness is not a goal, it's not a finite goal, it's an infinite goal. Happiness is more like a bar that keeps getting less full. Our quests are completed in order to keep filling that bar again and maybe even make the bar bigger so we can have more happiness in. So, with that in mind, we can achieve the conclusion that the goal of life is not to be happy, but to keep being happy, to keep that happiness bar as full as possible for as long as possible. So that's the quest of an infinite game. It's not something static, but something that changes from time to time. That may sound a bit like a bit bad. You may be thinking, shit, I have to fill this bar like every day. I have to do stuff to keep this bar full. It's like working on a time bomb. But that's the way it is. And if you don't think about it like that, you're probably going to go into the wrong quests. You're going to do the wrong things. You're going to go after the wrong goals, like many people do. They chase fame or money or pleasure, things like that. And we know that while all of these things are good, they will not make you fulfilled. And at this time, I should stop and go back to the main quest being keep the happiness bar full. Because you may think this is a very egocentric main quest. Well, again, this is how life is. This is how we are as biological beings. And thankfully, because in order for us to be happy, we have to do things like provide value to others, we have to have good interactions, we have to pursue meaningful things in our lives, we have to pursue a purpose, all of those things. So when I talk about happiness, I'm not talking about pleasure. Although pleasure is a part of happiness, it's a very small part. I'm talking about contentment, satisfaction, purpose. This is true happiness, okay? So I think it's important to keep that in mind. So now we have the main quest, which is try to keep the happiness bar as full as possible for as long as possible. And this quest cannot be completed. It's a quest that is always evolving. But this main quest will give birth to all our other quests. So why do we get a job? Because we want money. We also want a purpose, a meaning to our actions. And when we have a certain quantity of money and when we pursue meaningful things, or even when we complete tasks, we feel that happiness bar a little bit. So we can also think about things we should avoid. We all know that if you stay doom scrolling all day in your couch, eating chips, you may have some pleasure at the moment, but you know that you will be quickly draining that happiness bar in the medium term. So if you think about life and having this main quest of keeping the happiness bar full, knowing what happiness is and knowing what can you do to keep it full, all the other quests kind of fall into place. So why do you go out at night? Why do you pursue a relationship? Why do you meet with your friends? Why do you read a book? Why are you watching this video right now? You have to think in terms of, am I progressing in my main quest? Or is this a distraction? Is this like an instinct, a biological instinct that is not so helpful for me? And also, there's a caveat about us being biological beings. We have to accept that fact, but we also have to know the traps. Because our function here in this world, biologically, is to pass along our DNA. This is what our body wants, what our organism wants. But this is not what makes us happy. If we believe at least a little bit that we are more than just a meat puppet, something that will only operate on instinct, if we believe we are a little bit more of that, and I'm not talking about a religious belief, but a belief that our minds are wonderful and we are conscious beings, if we believe that, I think we also believe that we have to escape our biological instincts. Not all of them, and sometimes it's easier to go along with biology, but we have to be aware of that in order to keep that happiness bar full. Because, like I said, the goal of our biological being is to reproduce, and this may not always be aligned with your happiness. So biology does not want us to be happy, they want us to reproduce. Be aware of that. And like I said, be mindful of your main quest, keeping that happiness bar full. And this will guide all your other actions. It will make everything else easier. And if you like this type of content, please subscribe and comment what you think, because I want to do more videos about life as an RPG. What other quests are important and how to build the best character possible. What is mutable, what is not mutable. So hope this was interesting. See ya.